KTN News KE. But do you know where you can find the superstars? Right here on Celebrity Chat. And I love them. Why? They have been evergreen for the longest time. And yeah, they don't fade. I'm not going to talk about them like that. They are singer-songwriter and award-winning performing artists, Mayonde and Rigga. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's good to see you on the best show in Africa.
The best show in Africa. You have to use those things.
Say it on your chest.
It's prophetic.
Yeah.
So Rigga, you wanna start us off, or should we start with Mayonde?
We can say ladies first.
Say hi to everyone.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, and good morning to all the viewers who are tuned in to this beautiful morning show.
You always wanted to use the word viewers.
Yes.
Viewers, I love that
Good morning, viewers.
Good morning, viewers.
Rigga,
So good to see you, viewers. We are here this morning. Wow, what a morning, viewers. What a morning.
What a morning, viewers.
So I will just jump straight onto it. Prosper is a project that you are promoting.
Yes.
And I know it's been long since you did a collaboration, but it's been long, right?
Yes, it has. The last time we did was actually a little over 10 years ago since we collaborated.
Yeah, but it goes way back. It goes to Kijiji. Let's start there. So, how has the journey been?
The journey has been an interesting one. Like, Mayonde is very much my sister. I remember very vividly meeting her in 2005, and we were in a touring, performing, recording pop group together. That was so much fun. And then somewhere along the way, our paths kind of diverted, and here we are back again, about like 10 plus years later. And when we connected, it's like we hadn't missed a beat. Yeah.
Mayonde, it's exciting to actually watch you just move through music genres, and you are not now synonymous to just one music genre, because you did Nairobi and so many other Chini Kwa Chini and so many other songs. Just talk to us about the journey and how it's been for you to actually just try out different things.
Wow, hindsight really is 2020, and where I am right now, to look back and see the career I've had, I'm really grateful because I've been able to, like dip my toes into different pools and just experience myself as an artist and not be limited to one specific genre or one specific kind of music. I've really been able to explore over time. I really did start in the gospel industry.
Yes.
I was a church girl through and through, and that's where I started, and then I branched out and tried secular music. I really don't believe there's secular music because all music is God's. But yeah, I've really experimented and tried different things, and not very many artists have had the liberty to do that without being like chastised for it. So I'm truly grateful.
By the way, you were never crucified for that. Were you crucified for that?
I think I was always I was protected, or I was under the shadow of the Almighty, if I was to say that. There was truly a grace in my life where I was almost under the radar, but on the radar at the same time. So I was able to try different things without it being a big deal, because I wasn't in the spotlight like that.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Rigga. There's a time where gospel was an industry, and it was the money-making industry.
Yes.
We had so many people jump in, and now that it's not making a lot of money, everyone is just now crossing over into secular. And I'd like to know how that makes you feel being a minister of the word, and of course just talk to me about it. And there's no time I've watched you doing it just for the money specifically. It's mostly ministry for you. Talk to us.
Yeah, so for me, when this thing first started out, when I started doing music, early on, it was clear that this was about the impact that the music would have, the message that it carries, the effect that it would have on people's hearts, minds, and lives. So that's always been the driving force for me. I remember that period when there were a bunch of corporates who looked at the numbers and they were like, hey, gospel is actually making a lot of revenue in comparison to other types of music in Kenya. So there was a lot of investment, there was a lot of visibility, there were big name awards. So a lot of people jumped in because of those things. Now, since then, a lot of those things have stopped. So now there's a mass exodus. So guys are like, let's follow the money.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, there is a remnant. There are guys who are doing this for the right reasons. There are people who are pursuing God's call over their lives and who genuinely just love the art and keep going and keep doing it. So I pray that I'm one of them, and I'll just continue. Yeah.
Nice. I like what you said. Fame, money, influence is something we were talking off record, and I don't know why in Kenya politicians have that. They have the three of them, and I think Rigga was the one who came up with that.
Yeah.
Fame, money, and influence is something that predominantly is enjoyed by the political class, and yet in other countries, say the US, say the Filipino nations or the Latino nations, that's enjoyed by artists. And does it shock you that in Kenya an artist cannot just stand up and say, let's vote for this guy or this guy? Instead, we are invited as artists to perform for them.
Yes.
And it changes your career completely, because now your fans are now biased, a little bit biased. They feel like, oh, you sang at this political rally and it affects how I feel, so I'm not going to listen to your music.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the culture of our country. And you know, most places where they have a thriving art culture, it ties into so many other things, right? It's much bigger than what we could even think. The fact that our artists take so long to find their footing or to thrive in any way, it says a lot about our nation and what needs to be healed. But fame and influence are very different things, I've come to understand, right? So
you can be famous, known,
yes,
but when you speak, nobody's listening.
Exactly. But to have influence, and I guess with social media, that's a thing that's really helped artists, is you're able to connect directly with your audience, and that's where your influence is, even if it's 100 people or 200 people. Whereas in other countries, yes, you're famous and like you have so much money because you're an artist. And if you think of Tanzania, just our neighbors, like right here, it's very different, the culture of celebrating each other. And maybe that's something we need to build as Kenyans over time. I don't know how to heal that, but I guess what we're doing is just focusing on our audience, focusing on the people we have direct contact with, and just building from there. And it's really powerful. Even if you just have 100 people or 200 people or 1,000 people, it goes a long way, and you don't have to have Michael Jackson fame.
I like that. And that ties on to the song that you just produced. It's called Prosper. And funny how people feel like when you prosper, you're famous, you have influence, and you have money. Now I'd like to know what was running in your mind when you were writing that song, because I know it's collaborative, yes? But what was running through your mind when you were writing that song?
It was very interesting. So originally the song was Mayonde's. So I'd made the track, I'd brought her into studio, and she on the spot, she wrote the chorus and some ideas for a verse. And then later on she confessed, I'm really not in the space to do this song. But then I revisited. I was like, you
have good friends. I have friends where if you tell them I am not in that space, bro may change.
Panda Bay. So no, I listened to the song again, and the thing I really liked was her chorus and a bit of what ended up being her verse later on. So I wrote verses around it, and then I brought her back in. This was like a year later, and what we were talking about was the idea of prosperity being not just about having stuff, but taking stock of the blessings that you already have.
We will end on that note. Because if we continue, we'll water it down. So people should go check it out. I know you have projects coming along. And thank you so much, Mayonde and Rigga, for coming through. May you always reap big from what you saw, because I know you guys are evergreen. You've been relevant for the longest time, and you're not chasing all those things that we're talking about. So may you prosper.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for having us, man.
And that's how you come to the end of the best show in Africa. Make sure that you get to check out Chumbani, which is also a music outlet that you can check out and get to find more of